Good day. Today I will be discussing my topic, which is assault and physical injury and gambling. But first, let us start with what assault is. So, generally, an assault is defined as an act by one or more person that creates an apprehension and unnerving of an imminent harmful or offensive contact. It is carried out by a threat of bodily harm coupled with an apparent present ability to cause harm. It is both a crime and a tort, and therefore may result in either criminal or civil liability, out of which or conflict a person may commit assaults toward another person, a fellow employee or guest, either within or outside the premises of the workplace. There are employees who could not control their emotions and would outright hit another person in a fit of anger. Even when provoked, this type of behavior is unacceptable in tourism industry. An assault may be carried out with one's bare hands and feet or with a deadly weapon or potential harmful object. It may be between one person against another person or a group versus one person or even between two groups. The most common causes of assault by an employee are first, provocation by a fellow employee or by an irate customer, severe drunkenness or under the influence of intoxicating substances, gang wars or clannish disputes, heated argument, verbal insults, or use of condescending language, in a fit of revenge against a nemesis, and last but not least, deeply seated animosity. Prevent assault from happening in the workplace. Here are important pointers. First, constantly remind employees of the Code of Discipline provision and assault and its sanctions. Maintain a harmonious and peaceful atmosphere in the workplace at all times. Encourage opportunities for employees to socialize and bond with each other in a friendly manner. Reinforce close supervision among teams and instill positive values on all kinds. Subject persons or groups suspected to be having difficulty getting along to counseling. Subject employees with notable vengeful or violent behavior to anger management. And last but not least, severe sanction must be imposed on persons committing assaults, suspension or dismissal, as incorporated in the Code of Discipline of the company. Here is an example of an assault that resulted in physical injury that clearly shows how a situation can turn serious when emotions are not controlled, and why proper conduct is always expected from those working in the tourism and hospitality industry. Oscar is a receptionist at the 4-star hotel that caters mainly to Korean tourists. One day, a stocky male Korean guest was yelling at Oscar due to the non-delivery of a parcel he was expecting that day. Out of fury, the guest cuts at Oscar, slapped him, and threw an ashtray at the shop receptionist. This provoked Oscar, who grabbed an umbrella and began to poke and hit the Korean guest. Now, here's the question. Is the employee's action justified? How could the untoward incident be avoided? First question, is Oscar's action justified? The answer is no. Even though what the guest did was wrong, hurtful, and disrespectful, Oscar's reaction is still not right and not allowed. As an employee in the tourism industry, we are expected to remain calm and professional no matter how difficult the situation is. Beating back will only make the problem worse. It can cause more injuries, damage the name of the hotel, and Oscar himself may face punishment or even legal cases. Because wrong actions do not make our wrong actions right. Second question is, how could this incident have been avoided? Oscar should have kept his composure, did not take it personally, and did not fight back. Instead of reacting violently, he could have called the supervisor, manager, or security personnel to handle the situation. The management could also have clear instructions and training on how to handle angry or difficult guests, so employees know exactly what to do instead of reacting out of emotion. Proper procedures for receiving and delivering packages should also be followed properly so problems like this do not happen in the first place. That is all for assault and physical injury. Now let's tackle on what is gambling about. Gambling is defined as the practice or activity of betting or risking money or other stakes in the game. In most cultures, gambling is considered an amusement or leisure activity and is anchored on the principle of playing a game of chance. It takes many forms. In the Philippines, the following are examples examples of gambling activities. Casino games like card games, slot machines and roulette, etc. Government-operated games like lotteries. Sport-based gambling like horse racing, boxing, basketball, wrestling, mixed martial arts, car racing, etc. Gambling with specialized venues like cock derby or known as cockfighting, bingo, etc. Kid games like catapults or coin tossing, spider fights, etc. Party games like truth or dare or street poker, etc. Community betting like ending, jueting or betting in Tagalog, and etc. Online games like solitaire, betting apps, etc. And lastly, underground operated betting like dog fights. While gambling is generally illegal, some forms have been legalized in the Philippines and are under the regulation and supervision of the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, or PAGCOR, such as Lotto, Small Town Lottery, etc. Gambling is also permitted in wakes in blighted communities. Wakes meaning is lamay. So here's an example of gambling happens even during activities meant for learning, bonding, and building good character. And it clearly shows how something that seems like just a fun game can turn into something wrong and against company rules when money becomes part of it. The company outing of the employees of the Department of Tourism was held in Boracay Island. Numerous activities were prepared by the Human Resources Department for various teams to bond and develop good values such as teamwork, cooperation, creativity, critical thinking, diligence, integrity, respect, and professionalism. The meals prepared were always a feast. During the free time on the second night, the Human Resources Manager caught a number of employees at the swimming pool playing truth or dare with money bags placed on the bowl. Now the question is, how should the manager handle this situation? Here is what the manager should do. First, stop the activity immediately. He or she should approach them calmly but firmly and tell them that what they are doing is not allowed. Second, explain why it is wrong. Remind them that even though it is a game and they are outside the office, it is still considered gambling because money is involved. It goes against company rules and it also goes against the good values that the company wants to teach and practice. Third, apply the proper rule. Since it is caught happening and depending on what is written in their code of discipline, if it is their first time, the manager can give them a clear verbal warning, explain consequences if it happens again, and record it properly. If there are those who are known to always do this, they may be required to attend counseling or receive higher punishment. Fourth, they redirect their time instead of stopping only. The manager can also suggest fun activities that do not involve money so they can still enjoy and bond without breaking rules. And 5, remind everyone. Later on, the manager should also remind all employees during gatherings or meetings that gambling in any form is prohibited and what the consequences will be. Most tourism-oriented establishments forbid gambling in the premises as it affects the employees' productivity, focus, professionalism, and integrity. Even if it is done during an employee's break time, gambling is still forbidden as noted in the Code of Discipline of Companies. Herewith are some tips on how to prevent gambling in the workplace and how to manage them should they happen. Firstly, constantly remind employees of the Code of Discipline provision on gambling and its sanction. Supervise employees on each shift closely. Provide counseling for employees who have depression for gambling. Give verbal warning to first-time offenders. Next is strictly enforce security measures of employees' entrance, forbidding the entry of potential gambling paraphernalia. And last, provide a cozy and wholesome employees' lounge. That is all for my part. Thank you.